asked you all for book recommendations and you delivered. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexis Brianna and I am so glad that you're here. Today's book haul is a pretty special one because all of these books that I'm going to be going over in this book haul are actually recommendations from booktubers that I follow and from you all in the comments section sharing all of the books that you love. But before I get into these books, I have a special message for Shelby of Shelby in the Book Club and Shelby of Shelby in the Book Club alone. So if you're not her, you can just skip past. You could scroll past a couple of seconds and we'll get back to it. But ma'am, you are single-handedly responsible for over half of these books. And I'm just like, you know what? At this point, I'm going to just have to skip past your book reviews and your book recommendations and your books. I'm going to have to figure something out because my wallet, my book budget is screaming at me. It's screaming at me. I love you down, girl, but I'm going to have to figure out how to navigate around your book recommendation. All right. So back to regularly scheduled programming. I have my sweet tea here. Grab you something to drink and let's dive into these book recommendations. First up, we have James by Percival Everett, and this is a recommendation from Shelby and Marines of My Name is Marines. And when two booktubers that I follow recommend the same book, I pay attention. And this is a retelling of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and it has won so many awards. It's a New York Times bestseller, it is a National Book Award winner, and I'm also pretty sure that it won a Pulitzer Prize. And I believe this would technically fall under literary fiction or historical fiction, one of those two. If you're not familiar with this book, I'll read a little bit of the inside cover. And it says, a brilliant reimagining of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, both harrowing and ferociously funny, told from the enslaved Jim's viewpoint. I will skip that part because I think it's going to be a spoiler. The New York Times book review says, Everett mastered the movement between unspeakable terror and knockout comedy. And then at the end of this, it says, brimming with the electrifying humor and lacerating observations that have made Everett a literary icon, this brilliant and tender novel radically illuminates Jim's agency, intelligence, and compassion as never before. And James is destined to be a major publishing event and a cornerstone of 21st century American literature. And honestly, I don't think that last sentence is overstating it because I have seen so many reviews of this book and I haven't seen a negative one yet. I mean, it's been everywhere and it's won so many awards, and honestly it was just a book that I had been avoiding because I'm not a big literary fiction, historical fiction type of reader, and I knew that this book would challenge me, maybe make me mad, maybe make me cry. It would be one of those challenging reads that you didn't know you needed but you needed it, and I just was like, oh, come on girl, you just got to get the book because you're not going to be able to read it if you don't have it. So I got it. I don't know when I'll be able to get around to it. I honestly just wanted to get it for when I'm ready to pick it up. But again, I think that this is going to be one of those challenging reads that you didn't know you needed it until you read it. So really excited to add this to the TBR. Let me know, have you read this? I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on this book. Next up, we have Matriarch by Tina Knowles, and I have literally seen this book everywhere, especially when it first came out. Like, I remember when the cover was revealed and it was selected as an Oprah's book club pick, and when she became a New York Times bestseller and Beyonce's post about it. I mean, I saw all of the posts about this book, but the video that Talia Cadet did on this book and just reviewing it and talking about her experience at the book tour and, just all of those things like that. And I think that Shelby also read this book, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but seeing Talia's review of this book, I was like, oh, this may not be just a regular memoir about her being Beyonce's mom. Like, it may be deeper than that. And then when I saw some interview clips after I purchased the book, I said, oh, like, this is not just about her being, a mom. Like, she does talk about, of course, being a mom, but she talks about girlhood, womanhood, and love, and just her experiences and parenting and family dynamics. And really, I think more than just being Beyonce's mom, from what I could tell, it talks about just parenting and really creating an environment where you're fostering, I don't know, like an open environment of sorts for your kids to just flourish and just grow and be who they're called to be. And for those who are like, oh, like, I didn't know, like, it covered all of that, I want to read a little bit of the inside jacket because I think it does go into a little bit more about what the book is. And it says, okay, It says Tina Knowles, the mother of iconic singer-songwriters Beyonce Knowles Carter and Solange Knowles, and bonus daughters Kelly Rowland and actress Angie Beyonce, is known the world over as a quintessential definition of a matriarch, a fiercely determined, self-possessed, creative, wise woman. But this story is about much more than that. Matriarch begins with a precocious, if unruly, little girl growing up in the 1950s Galveston, the youngest of 7. She is in love with her world, with extended family on every other porch, and the sounds of Motown and the lapping beach always within earshot. But as the realities of race and the limitations of girlhood set in, she begins to dream of a more grandiose existence. Her instincts and impulsive nature drive her far beyond the shores of Texas to discover the life awaiting her on the other side of childhood. And then it says, that's life's journey through tragedies and triumphs, creative risk and romantic turmoil. The nurturing of a superstar offspring and of the special gifts is the remarkable story she shares with readers here. And I think that encapsulates a lot of what I gathered from the interviews that she did on her book tour and just the general interviews that she did. And the last thing that I'll say is, from what I gathered, is that she talks about how parenting is not just about, pushing them to the success that you have imagined for them, right? The life that you envisioned for them when you had them. But it's about really identifying who they are, their gifts, their skills, their talents, and who they've been called on this earth to be, and really nurturing that, supporting that, and not pushing them to the traditional sense of what success is, and really redefining what does success look like for your family. And I am really excited to add this to the TBR. I'm probably going to get the audiobook version of this just because I love hearing memoirs and autobiographies in the author's voice, because sometimes they add some nuggets in there and it's just really, it's more impactful hearing it in their voice. And so I'm probably both physically read this and listen to the audio at the same time for an immersive read. So really excited about this. Oh, let me know down in the comment section if you have read this book. I'd love to know what your thoughts on it were. Next up, we have Bibliotherapy in the Bronx, and this is written by Emely Rumble, and she is a licensed social worker or licensed clinical social worker. I'm pretty sure that is what that acronym means. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. But anyways, in one of my recent book hauls, I got The Body Keeps Score by Basil van der Kolk. And I was talking about in that haul how this book was just intimidating. It's been on my TBR for forever, and I didn't really know when I was going to add it to the TBR, but I got it because it's been sitting in my mind to get for a very long time. But in my comments, Shelby actually recommended that I read Bibliotherapy in the Bronx first, like as a starter to that. And once I dug into what it was about, I said, you know what? This actually is going to be a really good intro into it. And I just love the idea of bibliotherapy and how books can be healing, and really how reading the right book at the right time, in the right season, and all the rightness, right, can really transform your life, and it can spark healing. It can be transformative. It can provide comfort and insights and paradigm shifts, and it can be very therapeutic for you. And I just love the exploration of the intersection of literature and mental health and community and all of those things. And then in the context of the Bronx, sign me up. So I absolutely am excited about this. I think this would technically be under maybe self-help development. I don't think that this would fall under literary fiction. I need to look up the genre of what this would technically fall under. I do want to read a little bit about it. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for you. Okay, I'll read this back part. So it says, Bibliotherapy in the Bronx is a groundbreaking exploration of healing power of literature in the lives of marginalized communities. Drawing from her personal and professional experiences, Rumble masterfully intertwines storytelling with therapeutic insights to reveal how reading can be a potent tool for self-discovery, emotional transformation, and social change. Rich with practical tips, reflective exercises, and book recommendations, Bibliotherapy in the Bronx is a valuable resource for anyone interested in the power of words to change lives. Whether you're a therapist, educator, bibliophile, or someone simply seeking deeper understanding and growth, this book offers a compassionate, culturally affirming guide to the transformative potential of storytelling. So I absolutely love this. I'm really excited about it. I love this cover. It's such a beautiful cover, but I really enjoy when people who are licensed and have experience share about their expertise in those experiences. Love that for me. Love that for me. So really excited to add this to the show. Next, we have While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. And Jasmine Guillory is a new to me author. I haven't read anything from her. I did recently-ish get Party of Two by her. And I got this, I think in like July, or was it June? I think it was July, because I saw this and I was like, ooh, this would be a fun 4th of July read. And it ended up being about politics. So I didn't read it because I just didn't have the time to. But Bryn in my comment section actually recommended While We Were Dating because she said it's one of her favorites from Jasmine Guillory. She reads a lot of Jasmine Guillory's books. So I said, you know what? This actually might be a better first read versus this one. So I said, let me pick this up. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a celebrity romance just based on the cover, or maybe they're famous or something like that. Anyways, let's find out together. Okay, so it says, two people realize that it's no longer an act when they veer off script. Yep. Hollywood. In this sizzling romantic comedy by a New York Times bestselling author, Jasmine Guillory, Ben Stevens has never bothered with serious relationships. He has plenty of casual dates to keep him busy, family drama he's trying to ignore, and an advertising job to focus on. I'm gonna skip that part in case you want to go in a little bit more blind. Okay, Anna Gardner is on a mission to make herself a household name. This ad campaign will be a great distraction while she waits to hear if she's booked her next movie. So I think this will probably be like forced proximity, fake dating. Definitely will probably be funny. From what I've heard, Jasmine Guillory goes into deeper topics in her writing. Like, she weaves those in. So I'm interested to see what deeper topics she goes into. Just based on what I read, probably the family drama might be it. That might be like some of the things that she touches on. So really excited to add this to the shelf. Let me know, have you read anything from Jasmine Guillory? Have you read this book specifically? Let me know down in the comment section. Next up, we have The Fire Between High and Low by Brittany Cherry. And this is a recommendation from one of my frequent End of the Video crew members, Angela. And I am really excited about this because I have not read Brittany Cherry in a really long time, but I've heard a lot about her Element series. So when Angela suggested this, I said, you know what? I'm going to get this. I did get recently The Coldest Winter by Brittany Cherry, but I don't think that this is a part of the same series. Hey y'all, editing me here. I realize as I'm looking at this footage that I did not actually read the description of this book, so I want to read it because I read it for all of the other ones except this one. So this one says, there was once a boy, I loved him, and for a few breaths, a few whispers, a few moments, I think he loved me too. I'm not going to read the rest of it because I think that it would spoil it for you if you want to go into this a bit blind. Based on what I can tell, it seems like it's probably going to be a soulmate trope, maybe a friends to lovers, and if he indeed did love her, and maybe it goes back from when they were like, because it says a boy, so maybe when they were children, like they loved each other but they were young or something like that. It may be a second chance romance. But anyways, I did end up looking up this book because I was like, the more I thought about it, I was like, this sounds so familiar. And it is a part of a series that was originally self-published by Brittany Cherry. And she published this back in 2016. There are 4 books in this series. And as I was looking up the 3rd and the 4th book, which is, I think the 3rd one is The Gravity Between Us or something like that. Hold on. No, the 4th book is The Gravity Between Us, and the 3rd book is Silent Waters. I am pretty sure I read The Gravity Between Us, and the original cover, the reason why I said that is because I remember that title, and I remember it being a big deal, like way back when, and there was a man on the cover, but all of the new books don't have any people on the covers. Like, these are new covers. Anyways, I say that all to say, I do think that I realized which book that I read from her. I think it was The Gravity Between Us. So I may end up picking that up just to confirm that that was the book that I read. And if so, I do think I'm actually going to read this entire series because I want to, yeah, anyways, I'm rambling now. Oh, last thing that I'll say is The Coldest Winter. I think this was one of her originally previously published books. Even though this is not the book of focus, I think this was one of her self-published books because it is not the same height as the paperback of The Fire Between High and Low. Like, they are different sizes, which it's honestly going to bother me, but I want to now look it up. Like, I'm just looking at it just based on what it looks like. This looks like it probably was one of her self-published works. Think so. Let's see if I can see it in the back really quick. Oh, it doesn't say. But anyways, back to me talking about this book. So really excited to get into this one first. I think I'm going to save The Coldest Winter for later in the year, or maybe the top of next year or sometime like that. We're really excited about this. Let me know if you read Brittany Cherry. I hear a lot about her. I think that she is now traditionally published because when I read her, I think she was indie published. I'm pretty sure. But from what I can remember, she writes a lot of contemporary romances that have, I would say, like deeper themes and very deep characters who have complex backgrounds and backstories. So really interested to see if her writing hits the same for me as it did when I first started reading her. Last but definitely not least, I got Sky Full of Elephants by Cebo Campbell, and this is another recommendation from Shelby, and I actually got this as a gift to my friend. She was sharing with me that she was reading a book, and it had a very similar premise to this, and she wasn't really enjoying it because it was darker and just way more gruesome than she thought it would be. And I was like, oh, I have the perfect book for you. So I want to read a little bit of the inside cover because I don't think I will do it justice of like trying to give my own synopsis. And it says, in a world without white people, what does it mean to be Black? One day, a cataclysmic event occurs. All of the white people in America walk into the nearest body of water. A year later, Charlie Brunton, a Black man living in an entirely new world, having served time in prison after a wrongful conviction, is now a professor of the electric and solar power systems at Howard University. You know, like I love when Howard is in books. Like I'm an alum, so I love when Howard's in books. But focus, Alexis. Okay, where was I? Oh, there we go. When he receives a call from someone he wasn't even sure existed, his daughter Sydney, a 19-year-old left behind by her white mother and stepfamily. I'm not going to read that. I think that would be a spoiler. Brimming with heart and humor, Cebo Campbell's astonishing debut novel is about the power of community and connection, healing and self-actualization. It's a reckoning of what it means to be Black in America in both Charlie's world and ours. I love this. I'm really excited to give this to her and just really see what she thinks. I love this cover, and I think this would technically fall under dystopian. I'm pretty sure this would technically fall under a dystopian in terms of genre. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have to look that up. But really excited to give this to her and just see what she thinks. I gotta say, I am really excited about these books. I love a good recommendation. So be sure to drop your recommendations down in the comment section. And if you've made it to this point in the video, welcome to the end of the video, crew. Be sure to drop a laughing emoji in the comment section. I always love to know who's hung out with me until the end of the video. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a new video from me. Until next time, happy reading. Bye, y'all.